question goes like this. Have you read this book titled The Beautiful Ones Are Not Yet Born? Have you read that book? You know, this is a book by, like, it's a Ghanaian author that wrote the book. You know, I just want to know, have you read it? Chances are you've probably not read it, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But I want you to actually take your time. If you're one of those people that love to read, I want you to take your time and read that book, especially if you are African. You know, when I first heard about the book, right, I said I had to read it because, and after reading it, I couldn't help but just sit back and kind of think of what was going on in the book. You know, the book goes like this. It is about a main character. You know, the character has no name, right? But the problem in the book that the main character is facing is he's in a society that is corrupt, but he refused to be corrupted. And that's what is interesting about the book. Then, what now make even more interesting was that all around him, people were partaking in corruption. But for some reason, he was the one that people saw as the odd man out. People saw him as, this guy, something is wrong with you because you don't want to participate in this corruption. You understand? So imagine you are in a society whereby corruption is going on and you refuse to partake in the corruption, and then people are looking at you and pointing fingers at you and asking if you are okay because you don't want to participate in the corruption that is going on. You see, that book really taught me something interesting. You know, in that book, it was this man that chose not to be corrupt, that felt bad. Repeatedly, he felt bad. His wife made him feel bad because if he partook in the corruption, he would have enough money to change her life. You know, he can give her the best life that she deserves. But because he refused to participate in the corruption, and him and his wife were living through honest means, she made life unbearable for him. You see, and when you look at the society we have in Nigeria and in other African countries, you can see what we have is we have a culture of corruption. And what I mean by a culture of corruption is we have normalized corruption. It's the way we live, it's our way, it's the Nigerian way, it's the Ghanaian way, you know, it's how we roll. You give money to this person to do that something when they're not supposed to do it. In that story, there was a very good, clear example of this corruption. Here's how it went. The man, who is the main character, right? He was working in a transport company, right? So a rich man came up to him and told him, see, I have some, I think it was wood, right? I have some wood in the forest, and I would like you to tell the boss to stop at this designated area so that I can put the wood into the transport system and then they can deliver it to a certain location. Basically, what he was asking for was the boss goes a particular route every day, right? So what he was, you know, it was a train, he goes a particular route every day. And so what he was asking of the man was, please, I want this train to stop here. Even though it doesn't stop this particular place, I want it to stop here so I can load it, I can put my logs in the train. And then when I put in the train, once we get to a particular location, the train stops and I get my log out. Simple. In that way, the man was trying to reduce cost of transport. You understand? But when he told the man the idea, he expected the man to accept it and he was offering the man money. But when he gave the man money, the man asked him, what's the money for? He was like, oh, for you to stop the train. The man said he's not going to do that. And then the man was like asking, why won't you do that? He said that it's the wrong thing, he's not going to do it. So the man felt offended. The man dipped his hand to his pocket and gave him more cash, thinking that maybe the money he gave him was not enough. But the man refused. And the man actually got upset that he refused to do the wrong thing. You know, it tells you the culture in the sense that we have gotten so comfortable with corruption, you know, that when people are doing the right thing or they refuse to partake in the corruption, we get angry at them that why are you not doing this? This is how we do things here. This is how it works here. You give money to this person so he can do that thing for you. You see? So at the heart of, so why I'm picking out this story is this man kept thinking, and what he was thinking about is where will all this corruption lead to? In the book, he knew that where all this corruption was going to lead to was not a place he wanted to be. He knew that if there was a friend of his who was a politician, and he knew if he got in with the friend, they can siphon some money off the government's account and use it and live a lavish life. But he knew that at the end of the day, something will happen and they will have to pay for what they are doing. You know? So that is what I'm trying to get out from this book, that this culture of corruption, and what you've come to realize is that in Africa and in Nigeria or Ghana or wherever, we can talk about how corrupt the politicians are, oh, these politicians are so corrupt, but the question we should ask ourselves too is, how corrupt are we? It's a very good question. How corrupt are we? Yes, the politician may take 10 billion naira, may inflate the bill he gives the federal government and take 10 billion naira, but in your own way, what are you inflating? Maybe you run a shop and something is 200 naira, and then when you see people come, you raise it to 400 naira. In what way? Because that politician that is stealing 1 billion naira, he stole 500 naira, he stole 1,000 naira, he stole some petty money, and then he wasn't caught, and he kept going to steal 1 billion. They just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to steal 1 billion. It's a gradual process, So this culture of corruption is what we should actually look at in Africa. How does this thing affect our own lives? How does this culture of corruption make it difficult for us to be honest with the people that we say we love? Honest to your wife, honest to your kids, to your parents. How does this culture of corruption affect you in your own way? Because the truth is, we are all corrupt a little bit. Some people more than others, But the question is, how corrupt are you? How corrupt are you? Because if you accept that you are corrupt and you know that you are corrupt, then chances are you will want to take a drastic step to reduce it. But some of us don't even believe we're corrupt. We believe that, what I did is not a big deal now, and it's just a small thing. Is it because I just told them that it's 1,000 naira when the thing is 200 naira? It's not really a big deal. The guy can afford it. He can afford it now. What is there? Can afford it. You are corrupt. And that is the culture in Nigeria. That's the culture in a lot of African countries. So the question that I just wanted to pose to you today is, how corrupt are you? How corrupt are you? And think, what or where will this corruption of yours lead you to? Where will it lead you to? Will you take it so far that you end up in jail? Will you take it so far that you end up ruining the relationships of people that really love and trust you? So that's all I want to say today, And I just want you to just think of that, of all I've spoken about. How corrupt are you? And how is that corruption of yours affecting the relationship of those people that's around you? So it's the Dark Prophet, and I'm happy to share this. So just please, you can share this video, and I just hope that somewhere, somehow, it will make you think, make you ask questions about yourself. On that note, bye.